Dearest gentle reader, we have been apart for far too long.
Welcome to MsMojo. At long last, it's a new season of Bridgerton. Changes in the air on the Ton. Our favorite society set is shaking up the status quo with new fashions, new relationships, and new obstacles to overcome. Proceed with caution, dear viewer. This gossip includes slight spoilers for the first half of Season 3.
I do not fear change. I embrace it.
Number 10. Anthony. For 2 seasons, Anthony Bridgerton was responsible for carrying a substantial chunk of the show's plotline. And for 10 years before that, he was busy having to take care of all of his family's financial needs and noble obligations. We'd say the guy has earned a break.
How are your meetings?
Not nearly as good as our bed. Should we return to it?
Season 3 sees Anthony take a backseat to other members of his family, while he enjoys some well-earned wedded bliss with Kate. In the love of his life, Anthony finally has a true partner who can help take some of the pressure off him.
This is my first week as Viscountess in my new home. Tonight is Lady Danbury's ball. I must make a good impression.
Gone is the tense, tightly wound Viscount of seasons past. We wish we got to spend more time with this happy version of Anthony, but we can't begrudge him the time with Kate either.
We have our lives to be Viscount and Viscountess. For now, the only duty that interests me is making an out.
Number 9. Lady Agatha Danbury. When it comes to social capital, there are few in London society who are richer than Agatha Danbury. Second only to Queen Charlotte in prominence, Lady Danbury doesn't generate much talk herself, but she is instrumental in pulling the strings that animate the movements of high society.
She molds society to her will, and she is rather good at it. You do not know that about her?
While she is as active as ever in this regard, this season sees Agatha's focus a little more divided than usual. In fact, she is frequently distracted.
You must throw it like you mean it, Lady Danbury.
Oh, forgive me, Your Majesty, my mind is elsewhere. I've received word of an unwanted visitor.
When her previously unmentioned younger brother arrives on the scene, it's clear there's some key backstory here. The Queen Charlotte spin-off gave us a glimpse of Agatha's earlier years, but so much of her past remains a mystery. Agatha might prefer it that way, but we look forward to exploring her hidden depths.
Past lives are dangerous places to revisit.
Number 8. Benedict. Though he's a fan favorite for his humor and easygoing charm, second son Benedict Bridgerton has often been relegated to the fringes of the show's plotlines. Without Anthony's title or obligations, Benedict's been somewhat adrift, exploring art and love on a casual basis. However, for the first time, we start to see signs that he might finally be ready for more.
In truth, I enjoyed having a purpose, whereas now that you're back, I'm not certain what I'm supposed to do exactly.
His personal growth will have to wait, though. With Anthony now off the market, Benedict finds himself squarely in the sights of every scheming mama in society, turning every social gathering into an exercise in evasive maneuvers.
Lady Danbury, however are you? Were you quite well, or?
You are quite transparent, Mr. Bridgerton, using me to repel the unwanted attention of hungry mamas.
You have my apologies.
Ironically, it's in running from the matchmakers that he makes an intriguing connection in Lady Tilly Arnold. Time will tell if it's meant to last, but the chemistry is too good to ignore.
And I am in no hurry to find another husband, so you do not need to fear me plotting to ensnare you.
Oh, I'm not afraid of you.
That is a mistake.
Number 7. Violet. As more of her children embark on new chapters, Violet faces the closing of a major one. With Anthony's marriage to Kate, the time has finally come for her to step down as Viscountess.
Lady Bridgerton.
Yes. Oh dear.
The show stalls the transition somewhat by sending the giddy newlyweds off on an extension of their honeymoon. But Violet is well aware that her role is about to change significantly. Of course, she still has 2 children to finish raising, but it seems likely that for the first time in decades, she will have time to focus on herself.
Do you want to marry again?
Oh, well, I had not thought that far. It would be quite a change. And I do like my life as it is now, and the children, yet I do not know.
She may not have planned to look for love, but Violet's heart seems open and we're eager to see what fate will bring to her, especially when Season 3 introduces a tall, dark, and handsome possibility.
I believe this is yours.
Thank you.
Number 6. Francesca. In a family as big as the Bridgertons, it can be easy to get lost in the mix, so you could be forgiven for overlooking the 3 younger siblings. But this season is about to change that.
She desires to see more.
Does she?
I believe so. And it could be anyone.
Anyone?
Anyone who has already made their debut.
While Hyacinth and Gregory are still waiting in the wings, Francesca Bridgerton finds herself center stage, whether she wants to be or not. Shy and reserved, Francesca doesn't enjoy society like Daphne, but she doesn't rail against it like Eloise either.
I'm so grateful now that Mama has you to absorb her attention. I can delay dealing with suitors at least another year. Maybe even longer if you hold out as well.
I regret to disappoint you, but the prospect of marriage is the one aspect of the season that I welcome.
She's eager to participate in the game, if only to cash out as quickly as possible, and establish a peaceful household of her own. Violet worries that Francesca might be putting convenience over happiness, but Francesca's yearning for quiet companionship over smoldering passion still yields a sweet and unique connection.
She does not speak to him.
I am in awe. I thought one had to use wit or banter to dissuade a suitor, but simple silence is radically more effective.
Perhaps they are enjoying themselves.
Number 5. Colin. Colin spent his first international adventure appreciating wildlife, and from the sound of things, his second set of travels was more appreciating the wild life.
My stories from abroad are not suitable for such tender young ladies. Were I to tell you even the tiniest adventure, well, I would be forced to marry you.
Back in London with a swagger in his step and a bad boy glow-up, the cocky, flirtatious Colin we meet in Season 3 seems like a far cry from the hopeless romantic we've previously known. Needless to say, it attracts a lot of notice, even though he claims that's not his intention.
Pen, living for the estimation of others is a trap. Once you break free, the world opens up.
Whatever he says, this new side of Colin seems like an extension of the part of him that craves approval, and we don't always love the crowd he performs for. But fear not, we do still get flashes of the familiar, earnest Colin hiding under the playboy mask.
Oh, forgive me. But it is tiring, is it not? The necessity imposed on us to remain cavalier about the one thing in life that holds genuine meaning. Do you not find it lonely?
Number 4. Penelope. Whether because of her overbearing family or her less conventional beauty, Penelope has always been ignored by London society. And in the past, she preferred it that way. But Season 3 gives us a Penelope ready to get off the shelf and into the arena.
But what has brought about this sudden desire for change?
I cannot live at home any longer.
Chafing under her mother's control and craving any independence, she decides to take the reins and find herself a husband. With a new look and a firm goal, she launches herself into the season with aplomb.
Everyone's staring at us.
Jealousy, my love. At you are now mine. It is not us they stare at.
Despite the positive first impression Penelope makes, she still stumbles when it comes to the actual practice of socializing. But her determination does get Colin's attention, and his offer to help sets in motion the story that has been seasons in the making.
It is perhaps unusual, but are we not friends?
Friends.
Number 3. Cressida Cowper. In the Rose Garden of Bridgerton's Regency London, Cressida Cowper has always been one of its most pernicious thorns. And yet it turns out there's more to her than a spoiled social climber.
We're not all so lucky to have the support of our families as you do. Marrying may be my only way of feeling such support.
Season 3 adds layers to Cressida, showing us both her isolation and her stressful family dynamic. With these pressures, we finally start to get a sense of what is at the root of more unpleasant tendencies.
Cressida, do you know what people will say if you do not marry this season? If you do not find a husband soon, your father and I will be forced to find one for you.
It doesn't excuse any of her behavior, past or present, but at least now we can see the desperation under the nastiness. Notably, Cressida does strive to master her worst impulses and be a better person, but old habits die hard. It will be interesting to see which side of this more complicated character wins out in the end.
The season has a way of coming between young ladies, pitting us against one another. I suppose I've fallen prey to it once or twice.
Number 2. Will and Alice Mondrich. Of the many side characters who fill out the world of Bridgerton, we've always been champions of this couple. A former professional boxer, Will built a successful second career as the proprietor of a successful gentleman's club alongside his wife Alice. Though the pair are ambitious, they are also honorable and kind, and no one is more deserving of a sudden windfall than these two.
She has not left you something. She has left your son Nicholas everything. And while you have several cousins who are more closely related to her, none have male children. As such, Nicholas shall be the next Baron of Kent.
With their son's title comes a change in status for the entire family, and Will and Alice go from serving the upper class to circulating within it. It's a big change, with a lot of upheaval and uncertainty.
How are we expected to understand all these society rules when even someone born into this world cannot grasp them?
Watching the Mondriches navigate their new situation is one of the most interesting angles yet in high society. But it's their love and support for each other that really shines.
What is the rule?
We can do whatever we want.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Eloise. While the rest of her family sails happily through society, Eloise has always strained against its expectations. So our jaws hit the floor when we saw how she'd been occupying her time between seasons.
There you are, I've been looking everywhere for you.
And I for you. Shall we go and get some lemonade?
Splendid idea. I'm parched with thirst.
Yes, resident iconoclast Eloise Bridgerton shows all appearances of being tamed. She's following fashion trends, reading romantic novels, hanging out with other debutantes. Okay, one debutante in particular. It's madness. What caused this radical about-face?
Lady Whistledown nearly ruined me last season. I lost the battle and I have no appetite for the war, so I've joined the winning side.
Is she really that shaken by her near ruination in Season 2? Or is this the Regency equivalent of getting a new haircut after her friendship breakup with Penelope? Or is she really just ready to embrace her place in the social order? We're not sure, but we won't lie, we heaved a sigh of relief every time glimmers of the old Eloise peeked through.
And can you imagine all the spare time there would be if we did not always have to think about marriage? The time we would have to read or exchange ideas or do anything that isn't entirely for the purpose of ensnaring a husband.
That is interesting.
Isn't it?
Which character are you most excited to follow through this London social season? Bring your Lady Whistledown to the drawing room and discuss. Or just tell us about it in the comments.
I do not understand the limits of your new outlook. You're snug with Cressida, but have no interest in other debutantes. You wear ribbon in your hair, but where's your fan?
Why must I be the object of your curiosity? It is not me whose outlook has most changed.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.